Hello and welcome to the Hofcast episode 61 in season 3. This is our third year of having the pre-state semifinal episode. We got 7 coaches coming on tonight. I want to first of all just thank everybody for their time. I know it's a very busy day. We always do it the day before. So I really appreciate all the coaches giving me 15 minutes or so to come on. We actually have already had our first casualty. We can't get Coach Tim on from Toledo Christian. Hopefully we can get him on at the end of the show. But we're just going to move on. We are going to go ahead and start now with Coach Brad Gray from Tri-Village. I know I confuse it with Tri-Valley so much. I literally have to focus every time I say it. Coach, thanks for coming on with me tonight. How's it going?
Going good. You're not the first one that confuses us either, so don't feel bad about that.
It's not even that I confuse it. I clearly know the difference. It's just so close. Sometimes it just slips. But, man, I am really excited to have you on this show. I've had you on the podcast before. I've interviewed you in person. I mean, we've been friends for a couple years now. And quite frankly, I love your team, and I've been waiting to have you on this show, and this is the year. Tell us how. I know that obviously there's a lot of basketball left to be played, but tell us how things are going down there in the little Tri-Village community, and that you guys finally got over that hump, and you're headed to Dayton, not very far down the road.
No, there's a lot of excitement, obviously. I mean, just like, any community, that's a small community that, kind of rallies around their high school sports teams. Our community is excited. Unfortunately, our boys played in the regional semis tonight and just got knocked off. So that kind of puts a little bit of a damper on things. But, our people are excited about coming out and supporting the girls tomorrow at UD Arena for sure.
I think you guys are the closest thing to a Dayton area team, so you should have the whole area rooting for you, right?
Yeah, the Southwest region. The other 2 teams are both Cincinnati area teams. Yeah, Purcell Marion and it's escaping me right now. Who else got down there?
Princeton.
Princeton. Yeah. And then us. So we are the kind of the most local to Dayton. So it's a good thing. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of other communities in the immediate area that might show up and support us as well.
I've actually been down to Tri-Village, and it's actually not that close to. It's not as close to Dayton as I was expecting.
I think you got lost. It's only about a 40-minute drive. It's not too bad of a drive.
I mean, Cleveland is 40 minutes from Canton, so I mean, you guys are literally almost in Indiana. I didn't realize how close to the border you were, but you are out there.
We are right on the border.
I wanted to ask, obviously you guys have had you have a great senior class, and they definitely have helped carry you to this point. And you've had great seasons even previous to this one. What was, obviously your kids have gotten bigger and stronger and better and more mature. But what would you say is a couple things on the court that you guys have improved on to allow you to make that jump and squeeze by someone like a Fort Loramie this past week?
That's a really good question. It's a question I've been asked a lot over the last few weeks. Is what's the difference, or what's kind of helped us, have the season that we're having. And to be honest with you, and you've probably, if you've been reading articles, you've probably seen other people put this in print. But I think it's been our response mechanism, to things when they're not going our way. In the past, we've struggled a little bit with our response to adversity, and this year, we've handled it a little bit better. Obviously, the game of basketball, especially the season being so long, there's always going to be some ups and downs and things that you're going to have to overcome. And This year, our kids' response mechanism to things that aren't going our way has been much different than in years past, and I think that speaks volumes to the three seniors that we have who are kind of leading us, because they do have some youngsters that they're carrying along with them right now, and
Yeah.
they really led in a good way.
Now, like you mentioned, you have a really solid senior group with Hunt and Sadister, and is it Richards the third senior?
Correct. Yes.
Corey?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that is a heck of a class. And then I particularly remember the freshman post player. What is it about those seniors that they were already really good? What changes did they make, or what did they focus on as leaders of that team to kind of hone in and help be able to lead the team a little bit further?
Well, I think this year is the first year that this senior group has truly felt like the team was their team.
Mm-hmm.
When they came in as freshmen, we had a really good senior class that year that had a lot of varsity experience. So they, even though they were good players as freshmen, they really just played. They didn't try to take on any kind of leadership role or vocal or by play of leading a team. But
Yeah.
and it was the same way their sophomore and junior years. I mean, we just had seniors that each year that were kind of big pieces of what we were doing, and
Yeah.
they really took I don't want to say took a back seat, but they allowed our senior classes to always kind of be the tone setters for our groups. And this year, they really approached this year as though it was their team, and they wanted to make sure they put their foot down on how we were going to handle things, and have done a great job with that. And then on the court, I think Riley, over the course of her 4-year career, has really gone from being kind of a one-dimensional offensive player, of a kid that can really catch and shoot,
Mm-hmm.
to now being able to score in a lot of different ways. She's always going to be known for her ability to shoot the basketball, but
Yeah.
she's really added the ability to score on rim attacks. Does a good job at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line, and has become more of a complete point guard. Still averages around 4 assists a game, so she's getting her teammates involved. So that's been a good development for her. And then, Hunt has just always been kind of a warrior mentality for us, and has always been that kid that's kind of like the heartbeat to our team. And then Tori has really stepped up her offense this year. She's always been a really good defender, and people, rave about how she plays on the defensive side. But, this year she's averaging 13 points a game and shooting, just under 40% from the 3-point line, and has had a really good year offensively.
Yeah. You kind of read my mind, because my next question was going to be about those seniors, but particularly Riley. You mentioned, have you guys, how often do you talk about the process from her being I wouldn't necessarily say a role player, but like you said, took a back seat to some of the older kids, to now being a runner-up for the Miss Ohio basketball? How you guys talk about that, and is it kind of fun to look at and see the progression there?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of conversations this year about her growth and how much of a factor that's been for us. I can't speak for her and say if that was something that she intentionally worked on, trying to be better with that, or if it's something that just kind of fell into place with age, as she's gotten older and matured. But, Riley is a very easy kid to coach. She's obviously a coach's kid. So she's like having an extension of a coach on the floor.
Yeah.
But sometimes, coaching coaches' kids isn't always easy. And Riley has been a very easy kid to coach, and that's a credit to her and her family, with the development that she's had throughout the course of her career.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about a little bit about you got the win against Fort Loramie, and they've obviously been the thorn in your side the last couple of years. And you really had to play a different type of basketball than you are used to, and I'm sure what you would like to play. You guys won a grinder 32-30. Take us back through that game and how you guys kind of adjusted and made the right obviously you have to make the right plays, a lot of right plays in a 2-point game. Like, how did you guys adjust your game, and how was it to get through that for you guys?
Well, the big thing we did, and really it was both games of the regional. The Marion local game was a really close game as well. It ended up being, I think, maybe a 12 or 13-point game, but that game was much closer than what that score was. Both games were really a grind for us. And the big thing that we did in both those games, it's very atypical of us, is we sat in a 2-3 zone. Something that we've not done very often in my career, but we did it for a couple reasons. One, we thought both those teams struggled a little bit to make perimeter shots, but the other thing we were trying to do was save our offensive energy a little bit because of the way both those teams defend. And both those teams are just outstanding defensive basketball clubs, very physical. They wear you down because of how physical they play the game. So we knew we were going to have to try to find ways to conserve energy. We only play really 6 kids. Occasionally, a 7th kid will kind of get in the game, but for the most part, we're playing 6 kids the majority of our minutes. And when you're playing teams that rotate 8, 9 kids, sometimes fatigue kind of becomes a factor. So we were trying to be cautious about conserving energy. I thought it helped us. Fortunately, those teams didn't hurt us with the 3 ball, and we were able to kind of stay in the zone.
Looking forward to tomorrow's game. You guys play Berlin Highland, which personally is going to be a struggle for me. I'm going to enjoy watching it, but I would prefer that both of you win, and I know that's not going to happen. What are you looking at for the Hawks? I mean, they're obviously on a heck of a win streak right now. I think the matchup on paper is really good with Mullet against Sadister, Hunt, and Stutzman, and then you both got young, nice post players. What's kind of the thing that you're looking for in the Hawks, and what you kind of think that you have to be able to contend with there?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know if anybody has more respect for the Highland basketball program than I do. Actually, it was about 1.5 2 years ago. I spent a whole weekend with Coach Dave Schleybaugh, just to pick his brain, man, to try to figure out what makes them tick and some of the things that they do. And that was probably one of the most enjoyable basketball weekends I've had since I've been in coaching, was picking his brain, because he's such a knowledgeable guy, and was so willing to share, I'm super appreciative of that. Highlands, without question, going to be the most skilled basketball team that we've played this year. Their skill level is tremendous. Their ability to shoot the long ball is obviously something that can be really scary at times. But I think the thing that impresses me the most about them is how hard their kids play defensively. And even when they're undersized, I mean, their kids battle and they find ways to be effective. So we know that that's going to be a challenge. Obviously, I don't know Coach Brady as well as I know Coach Dave, but he seems to be, obviously a nice branch on that Schleybaugh coaching tree. And then, of course, having Dave back on the bench is worth its weight in gold for them, I'm sure. So we know it's going to be a tough challenge. We're looking forward to it. And, hopefully it'll be a great ball game.
Just for the record, whoever I pick to win, I am not going to be upset if I lose, if I'm wrong. I would love to see you guys win tomorrow and Saturday. In a sense, it's a win-win for me and a lose-lose, because I'm going to be happy whoever wins, but I'm going to be a little sad for the team that loses. How have you kind of been approaching this game, and the fact that it's something that you guys have strived for specifically? And we've talked about this, like, you have kind of built a schedule and the way you guys approach things on the fact that your goal was to get to state and get through that regional, and now you're here. How do you kind of balance that with the team keep that balance between, yes, we're really happy that we're here, we've achieved our goal, but this is our one and only shot. Not to say that it can't be happening again in the future, but classes like the senior class you have right now don't come along very often. How have you kind of focused and balanced that dynamic there?
Well, it's actually been a point of emphasis. Right after we won the regional final game against Fort Loramie, and we were in the locker room, of course we had a good moment of celebration. But my first message to them after the hooting and hollering kind of, came to a halt was, I thought the mistake that I made as a coach in 2012 when we made the trip to Columbus was that we allowed that regional final victory that year. And interestingly enough, we beat Fort Loramie in 2012 to go to the Final Four, and our semifinal opponent was Highland that year. So it's kind of interesting how things kind of repeat themselves. But I thought in 2012 we allowed the regional final victory to kind of be the feather in the cap for us. I thought our kids approached the rest of the week as though we had already accomplished what we set out to accomplish. So we've kind of made sure our kids this week have understood that, hey, we're happy for the fact that we've punched our ticket to the Final Four, but at the beginning of the year we set a goal, and that goal was to win our last game in March. It had nothing to do with winning a regional final. So hopefully our kids are staying focused on the task at hand.
Well, I know that you're going to have them ready, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you guys down there. I hope I get to shake your hand and congratulate you. Again, I appreciate your time. I know you're in the car driving home from a game, and it's a really busy time for you. So thank you for your time. Good luck tomorrow. We'll be catching up with you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on, and definitely stop by and say hello tomorrow.
I got you, Coach. Good luck.
See you, man. Thank you.
Yep, bye. Coach Brad Gray there from Tri-Village. Again, they've been knocking on the door for the last several years. They finally broke down the door this year. So I'm really looking forward to that game with them in Highland, even though somebody that I would like to see win is going to have to lose. That's just how it is at this time of year. So we're going to go a little bit more local for our next segment, and we're going to bring in Coach Kevin Lauer. Coach, how are you today, sir?
Good, Rich. How's it going?
Man, I appreciate you coming on. I literally have picked against you every step of the way, and you're still my friend.
Yeah, well, you know what? I love the underdog card, so I definitely and plus, I don't want to jinx anything, so we'll just keep it the way it's been going, and see what happens.
So should I just get it out of the way now, or should I?
Well, I'm sure
most
people in Ohio are picking Fairland already, so they're a heck of a team, phenomenal team, and so it doesn't bother us either way. We've been playing our style all year and see what happens, and heck, they're on paper and stuff, definitely definitely a huge task ahead of us for sure. Heck of a team, well coached, and everything else.
Well, we'll get back to the Dragons a little bit here in a couple minutes, but I want to talk about the Indians first. As we just talked with Coach Gray, he had a great senior class as well, and you guys also have an outstanding senior class that's kind of been your mainstay for 4 years. What does it mean to you to be able to take this class to that next step and really, again, a lot of basketball to be played, but you've reached the milestone that so many people look for and never make. What does it mean to you to make it with a class like this that you've been with for so long?
Oh, I mean, it's almost surreal.
Oh my goodness.
Definitely, just that feeling of, accomplishment for the kids and for them, putting in, so much work and effort. And I'm a very demanding guy. And, for them to go through all of that and kind of push them to, beyond where they think they can go. And that's kind of the key, I think, for a lot of these teams to get down there is you got to find a way to get your kids past that kind of like, that wall that they hit, and how can they get, past that and beyond that. And you do special things at that time. And the fact that we have seniors that have been through a lot of adversity and had been nipping at the door last year, and for them to come through, it was just kind of like they were like, we got this. We're not stressed. We're not worried. We're just going to go out and play our style and our way. And we're going to win the game. And that's kind of how it was against Canfield. And so, the kids bought into doing the little things, which was huge. And I think they, being seniors and kind of going through it, realized that's the difference maker between last year and this year.
Now, you guys throughout the season, and we've kind of talked about this a little bit, like you weren't playing at a state semifinal type level a lot of the season. You lost to CVCA twice. That's who you beat in the regionals. What was it that kind of got you guys kind of focused on playing the basketball that you had been playing previous, and really got you on the path that allowed you to upset the number 1 seed and then a team that had already beaten you twice this year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can pinpoint any one particular time, but I think our girls, I think it was a little bit of, we made it to regionals last year, and I think a little bit of returning 4 starters from last year, maybe a little pressure on them, the expectations. And then Bottomley was hurt in May, and then she came back and got hurt again in volleyball. So she hadn't played basketball for over 6 months going into November. And, between that and then just some other little issues, we just kind of were, it was almost like it's our last year. We're just going to kind of, do our thing. And just see what happens. And I think the second time we lost to CVCA, we had a sit down, and I told the girls, I go, obviously, goal number 1, win a league title's out the window. They're not going to lose a league game. But I said, there's a lot to play for this year, and we have not lived up to our potential yet. And we brought in a couple ex-players that played with these girls when they were freshmen. And I just said, tell them what you see. And those ex-players told them that they were a little disappointed that they weren't putting everything on the line for themselves and their teammates and everything else. And that was kind of like the beginning of January. It's kind of like our girls were like, okay, we're going to start playing for each other and for our community instead of for ourselves in this last year. And we go down there and beat Sheridan, and then we roll off a bunch of wins all the way through. And I think it's just that mindset of, I can't let that girl down next to me, without my best effort and my best play. I think that was the switch there probably about that time.
Mm-hmm. Now let's get back to Fairland a little bit. Obviously, like you said, most people consider them a top 1 or 2 team in the state, and rightly so. Looking at that matchup that you guys have tomorrow, what do you think are some of the keys for you guys that, I mean, we all know, well, actually most people might not know about Fairland because they're pretty far down there. And if they didn't see them at the Classic, they probably have no idea who Fairland is. But, what are you looking at going into this matchup, and what are some of the things that you guys got to try to combat to compete?
I mean, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot. You just go through the things that, what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? How can you exploit their weaknesses, take away their strengths? The whole scouting plan of how you're going to, figure out a way to do that, to help yourself win. And, you go through theirs, and it's like, they run the floor. They want to score right away. They can all run. They can all shoot threes. They all handle the ball well. They're unselfish, passing the ball. So you're trying to figure out, that weak spot. And it's really hard for us to figure that out because, for the people that haven't seen them, they can put up, 80, 90 points easily on any of their opponents. They want to get out and run and score, and they'll get a rebound or a made shot, and in 3-4 seconds they're catching it, shooting a layup or flaring out for a 3. And then in the half court offense, you can't really help off of anybody because you do, and they take advantage of that. So you got to play, you got to play great defense on the ball, and but you can't, and you can't help. So, it's going to come down to, a lot of one-on-one type defensive matchups, and they're really good at that. So, it's kind of like, I don't know if I say pick your poison. A lot of teams will, watching film on them, they kind of will take away this or take away that. And Fairland's done a good job of exploiting, what they're trying to take away. So, the good thing with us is, Fairland's on a whole new level, but it's, Copley runs the floor. They tried to leak out, get layups. So we had to work a whole week on that. CVCA wants to shoot a lot of threes. Canfield will go inside and out. They want to shoot a lot of threes. So, now it's like the next level up or the next step up, kind of combining all of those strengths from those three teams that we played in the last 3 games, into one. And, it's a scary team when you watch them. Our girls are definitely pumped and ready to play them. We want to play the best. That's why we're down here, to see what happens. And, you never know. That's why you got to play the game. But our girls are excited for the challenge, but definitely know that it's going to be, it's going to take a great game plan and a great effort on the court.
I got a little ahead of myself. I wanted to ask about the CVCA game, which I was at. You guys got down. CVCA was leading most of that game. What was the message there? And again, just kind of rehashing, you'd already lost to CVCA twice. And in that game, you got down double digits. What was the turning point in that particular game? And that was obviously a huge point in the season, which goes without saying. But what was the message in the huddle, in the locker room? And you guys obviously turned it around and did a 360 and ended up winning that game. But, what was the message or what was the thing that happened that really got you guys back on track?
Yeah, CVCA came out and they hit six threes, boom, 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 right away. They had I think 4 in the first quarter, 2 or 3 in the second, 6 or 7 threes in the first half. And I think we didn't panic. I didn't waste a bunch of timeouts. I try not to do that much anyway. I tell the girls, you got to work through it. You got to find a way, slow things down, feel things out, and the girls came in halfway through the second quarter, and even though we were down by 11, 12 points against a really good team, I could just tell that they were kind of like, okay, enough of this. We're going to just sit down and we're going to play defense, and, no more help and no more nothing else. And we went into halftime, and I looked at the scorebook going in. I go, girls, they've only made free throws and 3-pointers. So we're not going to guard anything inside the 2-point line. We're just going to guard the 3-point line, make them drive, and at least force them outside the paint. They drive, you're going to force them left, force them right. They don't get to the hoop. And, the girls were just like, we got this. We got this. So we went out there, and in the second half, we held them to 1 3-pointer in the second half, and they didn't even, I don't think they made a field goal the whole fourth quarter. It was only free throws. So it was just kind of like, those 3 games, our girls, our defense and our physicality is like on a whole new level. And I think a lot of it's just the senior play, and this is, kind of their last go around, and they're going to make you earn it. And they might knock you down. They might help you up. They might not. But they're going to knock you down. I think Canfield, we played them. It was like right from the get-go. Canfield's a physical team, and they get after it. And our girls took it to a whole new level, and Canfield, I think, was in shock. Their girls with kind of how we did that. But, it's just kind of like a new gear of these girls, this new gear they figured out on defense. And it's been tenacity and effort, really.
I last second something came up and I couldn't get to that regional final game, and 5 minutes in the game I'm like, man, I'm not really all that disappointed. It was a good old fashioned butt kicking, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, that was the one game where I'm like, I try to game plan for every single possible thing in my head and prepare. I hate being surprised because I think I let the kids down if something happens in the game and I wasn't ready for it, at least to help them out. But going into that game, I slept like a baby that night. I got up the next day. I was a joy in class, relaxed and everything else. And I just text the girls during the day and I go, this is the calmest I've ever felt in my life before a big game. And I said, I think that's because you guys finally realize what you need to do for each other. And I think my job is done. I think as a coach, you guys can take over. And that's the ultimate thing. When they finally got to that point where you think they figured it out, and they can lead themselves, you know what, we can just sit back and kind of let it ride and enjoy the ride. And going into that game, our girls right from the get-go, it was just like you knew they were gonna dominate, so
Yeah.
that was special.
Have you got any advice from your father, the legend? I know I watched him coach down in Columbus. If I'm getting old, so I may not remember correctly, but I want to say that they might have played St. V and LeBron. Is that correct or no?
No, it was the year before LeBron. They played Dayton Chaminade, who I can't remember. They had a player, wasn't the NBA, played at Xavier. I can't think of his name now. But it was the year before LeBron's freshman year. They went down and actually they won the first game in a huge upset. And their state final game was actually the largest on record in history for attendance. I think everybody liked to see this small school with a bunch of kids that were 6 foot and shorter, play. And then obviously LeBron came the next year, and then it was sold out crowds all the time. But 2004, the year before LeBron got into high school there.
This, not other people may or may not, but I used to coach at Northwest, so I would love to see you guys win. I would be extremely proud of that. Thanks for not hating me for picking against you. I like to have a little fun. So again, if I could still fit in it, I might pull out my Northwest stuff, but there is no chance in hell I could fit in it. And I know obviously this is a kid that you remember and your family remembers, but Rachel DeGia used to play at Northwest for me when I coached there, and she passed away. So man, it would kind of be really nice. I know the Northwest, the Canal Fulton community is going to be there, rooting you guys on. And like I said, I'm friends with John Buchanan too, but obviously you guys are the local team, and I'm definitely pulling for you, and I'll be there. I don't know that I can get on the floor to wish you good luck or not, but I'll do it right now.
I appreciate it. And, we're actually doing an award for Rachel DeGia. We're having an award, and their family's doing a scholarship every year for girls basketball players. So kind of to honor her and her family for that. So, you coaching her, and, former coach. You know what I mean? In the program. So, we got to win this one for all of us here at Northwest, right?
I got a vest in the closet. I don't know. I might be able to squeeze into that because there's no arms.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get you one of these shirts we got here made this week. So we'll have to get one over to you.
I appreciate it. Coach, hey, best of luck tomorrow. Looks like you're down there already. I see the hotel curtains in the background. So,
yeah.
Good luck tomorrow. I'll definitely be I'll be rooting for you.
All right, I appreciate it, Rich. We're just happy to be down here, play a game against a great team, and let's see what happens.
Absolutely, Coach. Thanks for your time, and get after it tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Rich.
Have a good one.
You too.
Kevin Lauer there from Northwest. Like he said, made regionals last year. They went through a little, some bumpy times, battled some injuries early in the season this year. But here they are playing in the state Final Four. So, as a former Northwest Indian coach, I'm really proud of those kids. It's been so long now, I don't even remember any of them, but, let's not age myself. So we're now going to move down to Central Ohio, and we got Coach Chris Wallace from Pick Central. Coach, how are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm excellent. I really appreciate you joining me, kind of on the fly. I'm sure we've spoke before and shook hands, but we've never really talked in length. So thanks, Coach Hedgepath, for setting this up for me. But I really appreciate you coming on. Unlike some of these other programs, we've talked to Coach Gray and Coach Lauer, and this is their first experience. It's furthest that you are on the other side of the spectrum. You got state title rings. You might be wearing it right now. I don't know. But you've been there multiple times. what does it feel like for you now that this is your second year of head coach, if I remember right?
Yeah.
What does it feel for you to, take that bump up? Now you're the man in charge. When you lose, you're the one that have to answer the questions, but when you do great things like make state Final Four, how is it different, and what's the feeling like now for you being the one in charge?
Well, I mean, it's definitely different, but it's since Coach Hespath and I still work together, he's still on staff. We try to keep everything really the same. I always ran the defense when he was the head coach, ran certain things. We try to keep it as consistent as possible. Definitely a lot more responsibility, things outside the game that he took care of as a head coach. That's something that I had to get used to, as well as still making my team be prepared for the task at hand. And that's something that I did see some early on. I was able just to focus on my defense when I wasn't the head coach. When I became the head coach, I really had to, overlook a lot more things. Even though I'm letting him still do the offense, I still have to oversee some things and make some calls and some changes that need to make in the game, because I'm the one standing. They can hear me. I'm loud, and at the end of the day, those things did change. But our system and what we do, I've been here 8 years. We've won 8 state district titles in a row. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of cooperation, and you have to be on the same page. And I think that what makes us special is that we're all on the same page, and we're all about developing the kids.
Yeah. The biggest difference is the accent. But Hedge, man, he's lived in Ohio for so long now, but he still carries that accent heavy, man.
He sure does. We made some trips up with him down with his family, and his brothers were in last week with the boys, having a good run. They've been watching his son play, and they play in the regional semis tomorrow. Came down, spent some time. I feel like I'm part of the brotherhood. He's got a lot of brothers and stuff. So
yeah,
it doesn't bother me, but you get around some people that haven't heard that Southern drawl, it's a little tough for them.
It is. It's different. So I'm thinking back. I know Reynoldsburg won last year, and Newark was the year before, and then COVID was even the year before that. So even though you guys have been there quite a bit, none of these kids on this roster have made that trip, the state semifinals. How do you guys handle that? You and Hedge, how do you guys handle that as a coaching staff, knowing that, there's an advantage to having some history down there, but really none of these kids have had that experience themselves. So how do you guys try to communicate that to these kids and keep them focused?
Well, yeah, you're right. This senior class is one of the only classes we haven't had that had a chance to be in there since 2018. We won it, 2019 runner-up, COVID year, and 20, Newark got it. But our conference, if you look at that, our conference is unbelievable. Obviously, with that run, the state champ, you've either won the state championship or been in the state championship coming from our conference. Yeah, and that's a pretty tall task whenever you're talking about all public schools, Division I, Central Ohio. That wasn't the case for many, many years, and I think we made a turn with that. So with these girls, that we had girls come back, girls that are part of, young ladies that have been part of championships and what they've done, have them speak to the girls. We actually luckily have Kyla Whitehead, who was a phenomenal player at University of Dayton, won multiple championships, team captain, was on our 18 group that won the state. She's actually now on our staff, and she's added a phenomenal viewpoint from a perspective of a player who's done it, been there, knows what the expectation is. So we bring our kids back a lot, to kind of talk to our girls and let them know, hey, they have a standard and an expectation. It's expected to put up a banner to win a championship before you leave your 4 years.
Yeah. Looking forward to Friday, you guys have the disadvantage of playing last and then having the quickest turnaround. But looking forward to Friday's game, you guys have Olmsted Falls. What do you see from them, and what do you think some of the keys are for you guys heading into that game?
Well, what I see from them is they play really fast. They get up a lot of threes. They get great at reading each other, backdoors. Team chemistry's there. They really play hard. We've had a luxury. The last two teams we play, I think, are very similar. Dublin Kaufman finally got healthy with Jenna Copier late in the year. Big time players, Tessa Grady going to Wisconsin. You got McGuff going to BG. Copier's got Division I offers. You're talking about a team full of talent, and they finally start clicking at the right time. That game we had with them, I think, will prepare us a little bit of what Olmsted does. Obviously, Olmsted's a different type of a monster. They've had a phenomenal year and played a big time schedule. Went to Best of Maryland like we do in the summer. They went to Tampa. We went to the Tampa Invitational. They played Mount Verdi. They played some big time schools just like we did down there. It gets you ready for this run, and I think they're definitely tested. So it's gonna be a great game. We're gonna have to try to slow them down, see if we can defend them, because they're a team that can put up a lot of points.
Now you guys have you talk about these other teams having a stable of players. You guys have your own. Madison Green, who was a finalist for Miss Ohio, which I think she probably should have been second or third, because that kid's unbelievable. And then you got a couple nice bigs. If someone hadn't watched Pick Central this year, what are some of the things that they should expect to see come Friday?
Well, I think because we have such balance, you would obviously, a lot of teams sometimes go into the game maybe keying on Madison Green, thinking that they have to take her. One step that she's made this year is that she's actually made her teammates a lot better. There was times during her career, because she was a big time scorer, that she maybe try to put the team on her back. It wasn't a sign of selfishness. The kid is not selfish at all. She just wanted to win so bad that she would just try to do it herself. And I think this year is really the time where she grew and matured and said, listen, I'm going to trust my teammates. If you're going to take me out, no problem. Let's take advantage of our matchups. We've had almost a different leading scorer, whether it be, those three that you mentioned. We've had some great games by Trinity Jackson, who's definitely a prospect out there that people may not know, an unsigned kid. And we've had some really good contributions from a sophomore, Riley Best, who came off a knee injury. And then we got two kids come off the bench that are college level kids. One kid going to Tiffin, who blew her knee out last year, Taylor Kelly. We've got her back healthy again. And then obviously Blossom Wallace, being a freshman, I think she's a Division I talent, who's a freshman who comes in and gives us 12 to 15 minutes, who can defend all 5 positions in high school. When you have that kind of versatility with your team, I think that really matters when it comes to making a hard scout. You can't just take one of our kids out. Someone else may step up, and they have stepped up to kind of take that pressure off of Madison.
Yeah, I have seen the Trinity Jackson kid, and she's a player.
Yeah.
She came to my fall showcase last year, and that kid's a spark plug. There's no doubt about
it. She had an unbelievable game against Kaufman in the regional semis. I think she finished with 16 points, couple threes. She was guarding, Jenna Copier different times. I mean, she can rebound, do it all.
You guys are used to going to Columbus. How is it different for you guys now that you got to go to Dayton? This is your first time in Dayton. I'm guessing you guys probably spent a lot of nights at home when you were playing in Columbus. So what's the weekend? How's the weekend looking different for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. That playing, that's a long night. Friday's a long day. So we're gonna try to get out about noon, get the girls out, try to get their head right, and go down, do a shoot around. We Wright State, offered up assistance there, so we can go down there, at least get some shots up, kind of get them the jitters out a little bit, have some team bonding, maybe check into a hotel early, kind of make a road trip. But, we're a team that does travel. We went to Tampa. We travel over the years and go to a lot of as many places as we can. So I think that we kind of are ready for that. And the girls are excited about, having the opportunity to go down to Dayton. It's such a great arena to play basketball in. And we've been lucky to watch Kyla, Malia Perry over the years. So our girls have been, these girls, we've been down there a lot. At least we're familiar with the arena.
That definitely helps. Coach, I want to thank you for your time. I know we were kind of on the fly, and you really stepped up to get on and help me out. So I really appreciate that. I look forward to talking to you some more, and I definitely look forward to seeing you guys on Friday.
Hey, I appreciate you having us on, and go Tigers.
That's right. Have a good one, Coach. Thank you.
All right, see you.
Coach Chris Wallace there. Like he said, like you heard on his segment, used to be the assistant, kind of did the flip flop, and Hedgepath took, with his son playing, took less responsibility, but he's still on the bench. Literally one of the good all-time guys. So I know he's probably listening. So I got to say something good about him. But good luck to Pick Central this weekend. Look forward to seeing you guys play. And we are going to head back north next, and we're going to jump in with Coach Denny Schrock, the newly minted 700 win coach. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine so far.
I really appreciate you staying up for me and coming on at 9 o'clock, but it's a big week for you, so sleep might be at a minimum, right? Or no?
Yes, it has been a minimum. I've been falling asleep a little bit early, but I get up about 1:30 or 2 and I'm wide awake. So
yeah,
I get up and watch a little bit of film and then try to sleep again. So try to take a couple little naps, but hey, we're ready to go.
Well, I was happy that I got to see you guys finish this in the regionals last week. You and I talked a little after the game. I'm not going to bring anything up. Anything that you want to talk about is on you, but it is really nice to see you guys playing so well right now. You were off to a little rocky start at the beginning of the year. Obviously, Bell was injured. You fought through a couple other injuries, but you guys are absolutely playing the best basketball at the right time. What do you see there? Like what has kind of contributed to getting you guys rolling the way you are?
Well, I think, nobody likes injuries, but I really think the injuries to both Tristan and then to Annabelle early on provided us with the opportunity to have the other girls step up and contribute a lot to our success later on. Yes, we lost early. We did lose early 3 times, but they were all close. And, somebody said, well, would you have won if you had Annabelle and Tristan in that? And I said, that's not the question. The question is, hey, my kids have been working really hard to getting better. But we will be good once January rolls around. And then since January, our only loss was a last-second shot by Marlington against us. That's the only one.
Yeah. That's a heck of a run. And kind of in the same theme of a lot of the teams that we've had on tonight on this show, you guys also have a senior class that you've grown up and watched and coached for years now. I want to say there's 6 seniors.
Yes, there's 6.
4 that play major minutes.
Yeah.
What is it? How does it feel for you? I know that you guys have been looking forward to this group for a long time. I coached a couple of them in AAU, so I'm well aware that it's been something you guys have really been excited for. What does it mean to you that you guys got the job done and you're headed to Dayton with this class tomorrow?
Well, obviously it means a lot. I remember, and we were talking about it just this week with the girls, with the seniors, that I remember back when they were 5th graders and we chose like 7 girls to be part of a select group. Little did we know that 6 of the 7 would continue on into their high school years. Yeah. And it's not easy, when you see them when they're in 5th grade and they move up each year and they have success. And then once they reach into the high school, it's a process. It takes some time. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that, hey, we felt that this group, by the time they were seniors, would have made it to, at that time, Columbus or now Dayton at least once or even more than that.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to talk to Bell. I had somewhere to be quickly after the game, so I didn't get a chance to stay a whole long time. But I remember the last time you guys were in States with Taylor and Coons and AR.
Yeah.
I had breakfast with Belle and her dad, and they were. I can remember her talking about wanting to do that herself. What does it mean for you to have kids in your program that have that type of ambition And even when they were in 7th grade, you go further back with them than I do, but even way back then, they had that vision and that goal and the drive to actually get there. Like, how does that feel for you as a coach?
It feels wonderful as a coach. You know, you always want to try to have athletes have that vision and want to work hard and want to succeed. And I've been very fortunate over the years to have people like Annabelle, like Ashley Richardson, like Carly Kuntz, Selena Kuntz, Taylor Richards, and a host of others have that same vision and want to do their best and continue to work hard. Hey, it doesn't come easy. Anybody thinks it comes easy, they're badly mistaken.
Yeah. Now, you guys in the regionals, the one thing I've said about Chippewa to anybody who asks me, you guys are much more athletic than people think or give you credit for. I mean, I know you guys are a bunch of girls from the country, but my goodness, you got some athletes and you got speed and you got athleticism, which played well in the regionals because you played Warrensville Heights and Laurel, who were both uber athletic. You know, what did it do for your guys' confidence? And I got a little flack on Twitter, and it doesn't really bother me, but I said Laurel was the more talented team, but I predicted you guys were going to win, and you did. What does it do for like your confidence and your kids' confidence to square up against teams that have kids like the Hall kid, who's going to be a McDonald's All-American, and Mari and those kids from Warrensville, and then come out on top?
Well, you know, it means a lot, Rich. It really does. It's kind of unique. You know, after the Laurel game, the Warrensville coach came up to me. He said, "Hey, coach, I just want to shake your girls' hands in your hand because your girls are tough, tougher than what a lot of people can imagine." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Thank you very much." That really sums it up to me. How they can play the game. They play it the right way. They play it hard, and they leave it all on the court. And that's all I ask: leave it all on the court. And they do a very, very good job of that.
Absolutely. And the thing that I've kind of noticed watching both of those, I was at both regional games. You've got multiple kids that I feel like are playing the best basketball of the season, maybe their career. You know, how do you kind of corral that and kind of help that keep moving over the next 2 games?
Yeah, I just hope I have some magical formula here, but these young ladies are playing, and you're right, they're playing so well together. On any given night, any of them can step forward, whether it's knockdown foul shots like Jackie did, or the game before that, that Abby did, or a steal, or, all these girls contribute. And I think that sums up a team. And anytime you can have that, and when you put another piece of the puzzle into the game, we really don't miss too much of a beat right now. So let's just hope it continues.
Now, you have plenty of experience, not only going to state, but winning a lot of games. Like, what's the message to this team? Obviously, every team's unique, but you have been there, they have not. How do you kind of mold that message to this team in particular?
Well, it was funny because we were talking about it today. They are really, you try to, corral them in a little bit and try to tell them what to expect this weekend, since we have been there before as coaches and that. But they're really loose. They're very calm about what they can do, and they are very together. They're very, very, very closely knitted group of athletes, and they seem to have a lot of fun. You still got to have fun in these games, and right now we are going to be boarding that bus tomorrow, and we're going to have some fun, but also we're going down there with a mission.
Yeah. Now, I don't think anybody shed any tears when Purcell Marion and Fairland both moved up to D2. I would say, and again, I've told many people this all week, I don't know. I think all 4 teams in D3 have a legitimate shot at winning this. There is no clear-cut favorite, at least in my mind. And there is no clear-cut, okay, that's the weak link. You know, how do you kind of keep everybody focused? Like, you know, we're not the underdogs. We're not the favorites. Like, but if we play our best basketball, we legitimately can win 2 games down here.
And you know what? That's been our theme, that if we play good basketball, we do have a shot of winning, obviously, the semifinal, and then hopefully into the finals and put on a good show there. But you're right. I think any of the 4 could win this whole thing. This is one year that you don't have, you know, Purcell, you know, Marion and so forth. So any of the 4 can win it. Let's just hope that the Lady Chips are the one.
Again, I consider you a friend. I've known you for 10 years now. I would enjoy nothing more than to see you raise that trophy at the end of this weekend. So, you know, I'm pulling for you. I also know you're not on Twitter, so I know if I pick against you, you're not going to know it. And if I pick you, you're not going to know it either. So just know that regardless, man, I would really, really enjoy seeing you hoist that trophy at the end of the weekend.
Well, obviously, thank you very much for those kind words. And there's a lot of – this is going to be, I think, a fulfilling weekend for me no matter what. And it's going to be a great final chapter for me.
After 700, what's the win total at now? 7?
Well, my assistants know more than that. I think it's 7. I think it's 722, but I don't know.
Danny, that's a hell of a lot of wins, buddy.
That means I'm old too, though, Rich. Okay.
Which means I'm going to let you go because I know you need to get your beauty sleep. But I really do appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit about the Chips with us all.
Well, thank you so much. I hope to see you in Dayton.
You will definitely see me, sir. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a good one, Denny.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Denny Schrock there from Chippewa. Again, he's been at this for a long time. Over 700 wins, multiple trips to the state semifinals. I think he might have let out a little thread of the future there at the end, his final chapter. So we'll see about that. But whether it is or isn't, he's had a great career, and I wish him nothing but the best and his kids this weekend. So we will be keeping an eye on that Division III semifinals. I think that's Friday. But we are going to move as far south as you can possibly get. And we got Coach John Buchanan from Fairland. Coach, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of disappointed that this is the first time I've had you on my podcast.
Me too.
But I'm glad that it's for this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if it's going to be anytime, let's do it right now.
So, like I told you at the Classic, we're going to get you on here. We're going to have a real show one day. But for right now, we got business to talk about. Now, you guys are literally a buzzsaw, period. And, I mean, you're playing as good as anybody in the state, regardless of division. We only got like 15 minutes here, so we can't go into great detail now. But what have you guys been doing down there to show up here after you're newly in Division II, so I'm guessing you're at the bottom as far as numbers.
Yeah. Really, it had to do with our enrollment. It really wasn't a competitive balance thing. It's just our girls' enrollment rose a little bit. We really don't have competitive balance, kids. It was just a little bit of enrollment increase.
And you guys are destroying people. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. Like, just give us the Reader's Digest version of what's been going down there in Proctorville to get you guys to this point.
Well, you know, we obviously had a really good team last year that made the Elite Eight, lost by 2 points at Union Local. Returned all 5 starters from that group, and then brought in what I think is the best freshman class that Fairland's ever had. You know, so you take 5 really good kids and you add 3 to 4 more to that. So now we're like last year we were pretty daggone good playing 5 kids. And
Yeah.
now we're playing those same 5 kids with 3 or 4 other kids that are just as good as those 5 kids. So it's a really nice problem to have.
So I think we talked about this at the Classic. You got a bunch of upperclassmen.
Mm-hmm.
Now you bring in a bunch of very talented freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
They're all playing together. That is always a challenge. I don't care who you are. When upperclassmen are losing playing time to underclassmen, there's always something there. How have you guys been able to avoid that?
Well, this group, I can tell you what, that might be the most special thing about this group. I mean, we haven't had a kid complain. We haven't had a parent. I mean, like really our kids and parents have really bought in. And, we started to set that groundwork in the summer, through playing at shootouts and camps. Like, hey, this is the style we're going to play. And, hey, Tommy, you're going to probably take 5 to 6 less shots a game. Bree, you're going to take 5 to 6 less shots a game. But we're going to play a lot faster. You're still not going to have your attempts totally go away because the speed we're going to play at is going to allow us to shoot the ball more times. So you're still going to have plenty of opportunities to score the ball. It's just going to be maybe in a different fashion than what we have played in the past.
Yeah. The other thing that is in play quite a bit for teams, especially teams with some younger kids, and you really you got some seniors, but you're mostly underclassmen, juniors and under.
Yeah.
How do your kids not get complacent? Like, you guys are really ripping people new rear ends, but you just keep getting it done. How do you kind of keep the kids focused and not let them get too complacent? Like, we're just that good and we're going to win. Because that is an issue in high school.
Yeah. I mean, like, we really try to focus one game at a time. People knocking on the windows, waving at me.
You're a star, coach. That's the paparazzi.
I guess. We try to focus one game at a time. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, our scouting report for Northwest is the same one-page link that our scouting report on the team in our league that was 3-18. And we try to make every game, obviously, like, you can't hide the fact that you're playing in the state semifinal or you're playing in a regional or whatever. But, we really try to focus on getting better and practice the next day. Like, we tried to focus on, doing better with our assignments today at practice, or like how we pivot, like, are we better at that? Like what's the next drill? Try to get better at the next drill. Like, our team motto is pound the rock. And really what we mean by that is, like, we just want to, like, understand that everything that we put into this, every little thing that goes into us makes the whole what it is. And so, like, the way that you block out, or the way that you communicate, or the way that you're low in your defensive stance, all that stuff accumulates to making, like, the whole really good, So I think that's just, like, we as a coaching staff really try to impress that on our kids, that, everything matters.
I want to go back to last year's loss real quickly. You guys lost the Union Local by 2. They went on to play in the state semifinals. How much did that loss play into moving forward in the motivation? How did your team take that, and how important do you think that losing that game was to what you guys have now?
Well, I'll be honest with you, like, we knew we had a solid team last year. We actually played, it was probably game 6 last year, and we played Waterford in like kind of like a showcase event, and Waterford just smacked us. I mean, they just drilled us. And we kind of had a come to Jesus moment, as in, like, hey, either we're going to, like, turn the page here and start doing the things that we need to do, or, things are like, we have to turn this season around. And, our kids really embrace that. And then we kind of, I mean, even with 2 losses, we get in the tournament. We're the 3 seed. There's a couple teams that are, that are seated above us, and maybe in the Southeast that are thought of as higher ranked as us. And then we play pretty well in the district tournament, and then we draw Fort Fry again in the regionals, and they had a couple pretty good players. We're able to get by them, and then the Union was a clear favorite, and we really close to them. And I think that our kids just started to understand, like, hey, this could be we have a special group here, but we got to really lock in every day, and like I said, everything's important. You have to really take it day by day and try to get better every day.
Now, this is going to be a tough question for you, but we only got one more. Well, we got two more coming on after you, so you can take a couple extra minutes. I mentioned to Coach Lauer from Northwest that if someone hasn't seen you guys at Classic, they may have no idea who Fairland is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. It's not an insult to anybody.
Sure.
I mean, you are down there.
We are.
And you rarely do you get this far up to play.
Right.
So who should these people, and we've got a lot of people listening to this show and more will listen tomorrow. Who should I know who to look out for?
Yeah.
Who should people be looking out for that has never seen Fairland play?
Well, I think the consensus on probably who our best player is Tommy Hinkle. Tommy has a full ride scholarship to play at Tiffin. But to say about our team, here's a great example of what kind of team we have. Tommy averages 11.8 points a game and is district player of the year, for the coaches district, the AP district. I mean, her statistically is just not going to blow you away. But I mean, again, when you take into effect what kind of team she plays on, and the fact that we have 7 kids that average between 6 and 13 points a game, so. And I mean, she's kind of the straw that stirs the drink, And so Tommy, I think you could start there. I mean, you could talk about Bree Allen. She has numerous Division II full-ride offers. As a junior, Kylie Bruce, same situation. Cameron Barnett has multiple scholarship offers, really good shooter, really good defender. A couple freshmen, Bailey Russell and Addison Godby, both of them are going to meet or surpass the kind of collegiate offers is what the others have. So, yeah, I mean, we obviously have a lot of players.
I remember back in the day, you guys were in Columbus, and I want to say the kid's name was Stapleton or
Tara. Yep.
And she went to
Michigan.
Minnesota.
Michigan. Yeah, she went to Michigan.
Back then, you had a stud post player.
That was Tara. Yep.
I would not say. I mean, you got a bunch of really good players, but you don't have the D1 stud that you had last time you were down there.
Right.
Do your kids take pride in matching up against these type kids? And Northwest has a D1 post player.
Yeah, they do.
Sure
they do.
Some of the teams you've seen all season have the same, and I'm sure some of the regional teams. But knowing that your kids, I mean, they're obviously really good basketball players and got their own scholarship offers, but there's no solid D1 kid. Is that something in their mind? We really take pride in this?
I just think it's harder. It makes it not that we wouldn't want multiple D1 players or any D1 players, but we're hard to guard because we are hard to key on. I mean, again, you can say that Tommy's our best player, but Tommy had 3 points in the regional final, and we were up 20 with a minute to go in the game. So our best player has 3 points, and we still we're up 20. So, but also we regional semifinal, she has 21. We win pretty big. So I mean, we don't necessarily have to rely on one kid. Where a lot of times especially at teams that are maybe under the Division I level in Ohio is that. They really ride that D1 kid. That D1 kid's going to be the focal point. And again, for Northwest, obviously I would, if I had the Bottomley kid, I'd make her my focal point too. When I had Stapleton, Stapleton was, we ran our offense through her. So, I mean, that doesn't take a rocket scientist to do that, but I think that makes us more dynamic offensively.
Now, I'm gonna ask you to step outside the box for a second because I personally have been hyping up the Fairland Purcell Marion game for weeks now, and I'm all for it. I know you got a game to play in ahead of before that, but come Saturday, you guys might have the most anticipated game of the whole tournament. Does the stuff like that kind of? I know you got to focus on the next game, but your next game after the next game ain't very far away. Like you got to look forward some as well.
I know you're going to think I'm BSing you here.
No, I'm not, because you don't BS.
I literally have not watched a second of them playing. Not 1 second.
What?
Not 1 second. I have not watched Purcell Marion dribble a basketball all year long. Not one time. Like the total focus has been Northwest. Every practice, every film session, everything. And I mean, we'll watch Purcell Marion tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and then we'll hopefully be in the position to scramble to try to get together game film, whatever. But, we focus on the next opponent and we focus on ourselves. That's really us. We really want to try to be the best version of ourselves, and then, focus on the next opponent. So we really, honest to God, we have not watched a second. It's no offense to Coach Mosley. I know they got a great team, and obviously their girl got, state player of the year. That's amazing. But we have no right to look ahead. We're focused on what's in front of us.
Now I believe you, because I know you.
It's true.
I know you ain't BSing, but I really find that amazing, because it's probably harder not to look forward than to look forward.
Well, I'll say this, you said, you anticipate a matchup, but I've even got parents, hey man, have you seen, Purcell Marion this, Purcell, we played Cincinnati Country Day was one of the teams we played in the regular season. I guess Country Day's in the same league as Purcell Marion. So we beat Country Day by 19. I guess Purcell Marion beat them by whatever. I've got by 14 or whatever. I've got coaches messaging me like screenshots of their score and like, hey, you beat them by more, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's hard to compare scores anyway, but whatever. We're not focused on that. But yeah, I get it. I understand, but we're solely focused on Northwest, 100%.
Well, it's definitely your job to focus on the next game. It's my
yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
Again, you guys are just playing out of your mind. I forget who it was that in the regional semis,
Unioto,
a really good team, and you just driven them out of the gym.
Yeah, they were Chillicothe Unioto was undefeated, just like us. We were both 25-0 going into the game, and it was a fun game because they play the same way we do. They want to press, they want to get up and down. They play a lot of players. It was and they play some defenses that I can't really call like sets on or whatever. So our kids really enjoyed it because they didn't have to listen to me calling all kinds of plays. It was just kind of like, hey, beat the double team, go play, shoot the ball. So they like that.
And you beat obviously a heck of a team in the regional finals.
Yeah.
And I actually I forget who it was, but someone texted me and they're like, is Fairland not that good? They only beat Granville 41-25. I'm like, listen to yourself. They literally beat someone by 16 that only scored 25 points. That's a pretty good ratio.
And that same team only gave up 6 points in the regional semifinal.
Exactly. I was like, I can't remember who texted me that, but I'm like, I don't think that's any indication.
Yeah. Because well, that's fine if you want to overlook us or say that's fine. That doesn't bother me any.
So, but I had a question in mind, so I'm going to get back to that. You're playing so well right now, beating really good teams, but I know, particularly just through our conversation here in the last 15 minutes, you're not complacent. You're not happy with where you're at. What are one or two things that you still are drilling into your squad? Like, we have to get better at this or that, or we're not going to win, or we're going to make it much tougher on ourselves.
I think every level of the regional has shown us that defenses get tighter and more physical, and you have to be stronger with the ball the farther you advance through the tournament. And, rebounding becomes a very big issue. Like, every single person is going to fight for that basketball like it's $100 million coming off the rim. Mm-hmm. So we've got to be really physical, and we've got to match that intensity or exceed that intensity. And we've done that so far. And I'm sure tomorrow's not going to be any different. They're going to try to rebound like crazy and fight like crazy. So it'll be tough.
Now, my final question, if you guys win, I'm not looking forward. I'm just got to include my boy Todd. If you guys win, does Todd get a championship ring?
Todd gets whatever Todd wants. I mean, Todd's an amazing person. I mean, like the job he did where he's at, I mean, we're like, absolutely. Like Todd would be part of the celebration. He'd get a ring. He'd get whatever we get. Todd would get. He's the man.
I mess with him all the time. I'm like, man, you're lucky you did really well this year because you see what you left.
Yeah, I know last year he gave a great speech after our regional final, and he was like, man, I'm really glad you guys gave me a chance, to maybe have a chance to go to state tournament, and I'm so happy for him and the job he's done. And I mean, I'm glad somebody took a chance on him because obviously he's proven that he can kill it at the college level.
Absolutely. And for like the fifth time today, a school that passed him up let go of their current.
Yeah.
For like the fifth time.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, sometimes hiring the right people counts a whole lot.
That's right.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I promise you, we're getting you back on here this off season, and we're going to talk more in depth about your program and what you guys do down there. But I am really looking forward to it. I don't know if you heard this. I used to coach in Northwest.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I do have a personal connection there. I told Kevin there's no way I can wear my Northwest stuff. I said it was because it's too small, but it's really because I don't want to root against.
Well, see, if you wore that, it'd be like Christmas. It's red and green. It could be like you could be like Santa Claus. That'd be the basketball Santa Claus in Dayton. That could be you, man. That'd be perfect.
I have a vest, and I said I might be able to squeeze into that because it ain't got no arms. Coach, I appreciate your time. Truly, good luck this weekend. I'll be down there, obviously, and I hope I get a chance to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Coach John Buchanan there from Fairland. Best way I can describe them is they are a buzzsaw, period. They're playing as good as any team. So I'm really looking forward to see them continue that in Columbus or in Dayton. I wish it was Columbus, but we got to go to Dayton. So good luck to the Dragons. And we are going to go to Amish country, and we're bringing on my friend Brady Schlaball. Brady, how are you, sir?
What's going on, Rich? How we doing?
Oh, man, you don't even realize how happy I am for you and how proud I am of you. You, in my mind, you are the coach of the year in D4, period.
Yeah.
I don't know what the win streak's at right now, but you guys are on a tear. And I know that a lot of that has to do with kids. The coaching has a lot to do with it as well. And I know you're going to give me some coach speaks. So I'm just going to get out there and say the coaching has just as much to do with it as the players. But let's just get to it. You guys obviously I want to say you started off rocky, but your schedule was brutal. You played a lot of teams that you probably had very little chance of even beating. But the kids kept coming along. And what is the win streak now? 16, 17?
I'm not even sure. 14 maybe.
Whatever it is, it's a lot of dang wins in a row to end the season. Looking back at that time, I remember you guys beat Midview in the Classic. I don't think you've lost since then. What kind of clicked in your mind to kind of get everybody rolling and get out of the funk that you were in? And I mean, you guys aren't just beating IVC schools in this win streak. You're beating really good basketball teams. What kind of was the key to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're such a young team, and early on we had to figure out how to win close games, big games, stuff like that. And so, for a young team, we knew that coming in. We knew we were going to have a lot of lows and a lot of highs, and that's something that we really preached early on. And so, because of that, we were able to handle, losing a bunch of games early to really good teams. I mean, our first two games of the year was at Laurel and then against Northwest at Smithville. And so, two really good teams. Northwest, obviously excited to watch them play tomorrow. And so yeah, really good teams. Played Convoy Crestview at the Classic too. And we felt like we were playing really good teams close, but we just couldn't quite get over that hump. And then, obviously that Midview game, I feel like, is when our girls really started to believe, what us coaches believed in them. And, once you get a little bit of that, a little bit of momentum, and, you see your buddies making big time plays, that makes you want to make some big plays. And so it just kind of spirals after that, I feel like. And then, had a couple really good wins late in the season against Waynedale, West Holmes, and Tusky Valley, some of those really good teams. And then obviously in the tournament as well.
Now, you guys, you had right before the season started, one of your better players decided not to play. That was a hit of adversity that you guys had to face. But you found a way to get other kids to step up. And most recently, the freshman Mast, she was 5 for 5 from the 3-point line in the regional. I don't know that anybody's seen that coming. That's just a testament to her, playing with confidence and being prepared for the moment. And you guys as coaches kind of bringing these kids along as the season goes. Like how important, you got your big three, big two, and then, Yoder, the younger post player. But how important is it to get contributions from these other kids like you have been getting?
Yeah, it's been huge for us. Evie's obviously, she's a gamer, man, and loves the game, works super hard. And, we felt like the biggest thing for her this year was becoming one of our best defensive players. When Kate Kaufman comes out of the game, we put Evie Mass on the other team's best player. And so we were really, we've been really pleased with, her growth over the course of the year. And then to get her to step up and hit some big time shots in that regional final game, we always knew she had it in her, but, hadn't had a chance to quite show it yet. And so super excited to see that. And, some other kids we've had step up big time for us. Kate Kaufman, who, hasn't played since 6th grade and comes in this year, and, she's guarding the other team's best player for the entire game, and really has become a difference maker for us, being able to pressure people full court. And so it's been really cool to see who's going to step up, night in and night out that, you don't expect. And I know that's kind of always been, what Highland has been about, or, playing 8, 9, 10 kids. And, now that I'm kind of in this position, I get to see it firsthand, why, Dad has always preached that, and we get to see that night in and night out.
One of the kids that I want to talk about specifically is Mallory. Obviously, you lost her last year to injury. She came back, and for the most part, she's been really good. How big has getting Mallory back healthy been for you guys? And she's had some huge games, but how big of a impact has she made for you guys now that she's healthy?
I mean, it's huge for us. It really is everything. She's obviously one of our better players, and when your best players are your hardest workers, it definitely translates, and it's what every coach wants. But she's a leader for us on the court. She's a gamer, a high IQ kid, but also off the court, she's a huge leader for us. She's who all our kids want to be around, and she's one of those types of people. And so it's exciting to see her obviously excelling on the court, but also off the court, she's become a huge leader. And that's really what I challenged Ashley and Mallory with early on in the season was, you guys have had some roles on some really good teams. Obviously, the state championship team 2 years ago, they played a part in, but have never really had to take on a leadership role. And so that was something I challenged them with early on, and they have definitely stepped up to bat in those areas. So to see that growth in them has been really exciting.
We definitely got to talk about Ashley Mullet. So I'm glad you brought her up. I've coached her now, so I understand what Ashley's about, and I understand the competitor that she is, and it's got to be nice knowing that you got a kid like that not only can score, but also defends. And I've said again, I mean, I hope they're not listening, but there's been teams that you guys have played in the postseason that everyone's like, oh, can Highland beat them? They got this player, they got that player. I'm like, listen, that player has not faced Ashley Mullet yet. It's going to be a much different story, and every step of the way, you guys have proved that. What is it like? Like, every coach has their kid. Like, your dad has had Noelle Yoder,
Hillary Weaver.
So,
Yeah.
like, every coach has their go-to kid, and for you now, that's Ashley, at least for the next 2 years. And someday somebody else might step into that role. But what does it mean to you as a coach to have a kid like that you know you can count on every single day, and she's going to bring it, and more times than not, she's going to get the job done?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it really is every coach's dream. You know, it makes you as a coach look a lot better when, you know, your point guard's able to create and, you know, ultimately create open shots for other people and, you know, get you into the offense and not have to worry about handling pressure and, you know, things of that nature. It definitely makes you look a lot better as a coach when, you know, they're able to create their own shots. But, you know, like I said, the leadership that she has shown to stay level-headed at our low points, but also at our high points has been truly exciting for me to see on the sidelines and to be a part of and a witness to that has been really cool. And, you know, she's battled some injuries too this year, and, you know, you would never know it because she's ready to go every game. And, you know, sometimes she works too hard and you have to kind of slow her down, but it's been really exciting to see.
I'm definitely excited for the matchup, you know, and they may not guard each other all the time, but it's going to have to happen between her and Sagister. You know, what are you guys looking at while going through the scout, and you know, what do you see in a kid like Sagister who just finished runner-up for the Ohio Miss Basketball?
I mean, she's an incredible. There's a reason that, you know, she is going to Marshall, and, you know, she's going to have a great career there. Dad was actually down at that Fort Loramie Tri-Village game, and, you know, came home afterwards, and he was like, Brady, she's shooting it, you know, from the volleyball line and consistently too. And so, you know, with me thinking he over exaggerates everything, and, you know, we watch that film, and I mean, like, first quarter, you know, 3 minutes into the game, she's consistently making shots from that deep. And so, you know, anytime she steps across half court, she's in range. And,
Yeah.
you know, us coaches definitely won't be surprised by that. And, you know, and the crazy thing is too, that's, you know, that's not their whole team. And they've got some unbelievable players around her, and, you know, Hunt and Richards, and, you know, some of their freshmen that are playing big minutes for them. It's, you know, we knew since the first day in the fall that they would be the number one team in Division IV, and, you know, there at the end, if we wanted to make it this far and have a chance to win the whole thing, you know, that's who we've been watching all year. And so obviously I have a lot of respect for Brad, and looking forward to getting after it tomorrow.
I don't know how honest you're willing to be, especially on a live broadcast, but let's talk about you for a second. You stepped in your dad's shoes, not directly. There, you know, Mishler was the coach last year, but there was only 1 year between you and your dad, and they talked you into taking the job. Maybe not had to talk you into it too much, but you were the guy they wanted, and you accepted it, and you've taken it on full blast. Did you honestly expect to be playing in the state championship in your first year?
I mean, you know, for me, I felt like, you know, the team's highest potential was to be playing in Dayton with a chance to win a state championship. And, you know, that's what we told them from day one in the summer, and, you know, what we believed they could do. I don't know if they necessarily believed it at that point. But, you know, as we strung together some of those wins towards the end of the year, then, you know, you really start to believe that you can. And, you know, we've always been prepared for those type of moments. And so it's been really fun to be a part of.
I would imagine that I mean, you guys are smart. Like you knew where you were going to go in the tournament, and you knew that who you were going to have to play in the districts and potential regional matchups. And I would say that you guys probably had a pretty good confidence that you could make a run. And but there probably also had to be a time earlier in the season where, I know you had a losing record at one point. And again, not an insult because your schedule was tremendous, but was there at any point any kind of doubt like, man, we may not be able to turn the corner fast enough, or we might run out of time, or, you're a first-time coach, there was probably, you were dealing with a lot of other things other than the win-loss record as well. Like, how did you guys not get stuck in that doubt that, okay, maybe it's not our time yet, or we got a lot further to go, or the learning curve is not happening fast enough?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like early on, especially in the fall, we knew how tough our schedule has been. I maybe even got on our AD a little bit and gave him some crap because, my first year I'm going to come in and we got to play all these unbelievable teams. But, because we knew that coming into the year, we really made it a priority to not let our lows get too low and know that, every game we were getting a little bit better. And that was our goal every day to come in and get 1% better. And, hopefully by the end of the year, because of all the battles we've been through, all the chinks in our armor, that we're going to be able to be prepared for the battles that, our districts was no joke, having to play Strasburg in the district semis, who's, they've got some studs and they definitely will for the next couple of years. And then obviously River in the district finals, who presented a lot of challenges for us. And, but I truly think because of our schedule and how tough that was, that gave us that confidence and that ability, come tournament time. Yeah.
Now, you obviously have a very different dynamic. You got your dad on the bench with you, and we all know your dad and the legend that he is. First of all, what's it been like to be able to coach side by side with your dad, who I'm guessing is your biggest role model, someone that you've looked up to your whole life, whether it was as a player or now as a coach? Like, how has that experience been for you to get that?
Yeah, I mean, especially after living in Texas for a year and, not being around a ton, it's as a son, it's enjoyable to just, be around dad more and be a part of what's going on. And so for me, that's been the most exciting thing. But obviously on the coaching side of things, it's all the off the court stuff that is really already in place that, a first year coach normally has to deal with, that has been huge for me to already have that stuff in place and be able to just coach basketball, build relationships with the girls that, want to get in the gym and work hard. And so because of that, I've been able to learn, what little things to focus on, what little things, aren't as big of a deal. And so for me to, add my own things to it has been exciting, but also, to learn along the way and be a learner has been fun.
Has there been a time where you guys just flat out disagreed and you kind of got
a few times? It doesn't happen too much. It doesn't happen too often. But, Dad was always big on, taking ideas from his assistants and utilizing them and, seeing if they work out. And so, I guess I got to do the same.
I understand. Those are the type of stories that come out while you're sitting by the sleigh ball pool, sipping on some bourbon or at a tournament in Louisville or something. I get it. We'll be there will be a time where those stories come out.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Well, Brady, I appreciate your time, man. Like I said, I think what you've done down there is outstanding. It takes more than you. I know that you know that, and that's never going to be a missed message. So, I'm excited to see you guys get after it. I know it's going to be a very, very tough game. I already told Coach Gray that if they win, I'll be happy for them. I'll be rooting for them. But
same.
I mean, I think anybody knows that I'm not a Highland Hawk, but I'm as close as it can get without being one. So obviously I'm rooting for the Hawks, and I would love to see you guys win. So I'll be there, man. And
appreciate you always, appreciate what you've always done for the Highland kids. And, I know kind of your territory too is the Northeast, and that's where you've kind of built a really good reputation. So for me, it's cool to see teams like, Northwest, Chippewa, Midview, Olmsted Falls, like teams like that are from our area that, we've gotten to build relationships with and play against all year, and see them live. So it's going to be a fun weekend for sure.
Absolutely. I saw the Martin RPI tweet the map today, and I want to say there was like 6 or 7 teams that would be considered Northeast Ohio. Maybe some of them are a little bit wet north. The northern teams are a little west, but if you break it into quadrants, there's 6 or 7 of those teams in Northeast Ohio.
It's exciting. It's exciting for sure.
And D4, the other team in D4, New Middlefield, Springfield, yes. So, like I said, man, go Hawks. Love to see you guys pull one out. So
appreciate it, Rich. Thanks.
I'll be there. I'm sure I'll find some familiar faces to sit with during that game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I better call Kuzi on the way down to Dayton tomorrow and see where what he's up to.
See what he's up to.
All right, Brady, man. We'll talk to you later. Good luck tomorrow.
Yep, appreciate it. Thanks, Rich.
Have a good one. Coach Brady Schlaball there, like everybody knows, took over for his dad, Dave. In his first year, he's got the Hawks back down in the state finals, and they are on a heck of a win streak. Like I said, they're not just beating bad IVC teams. They beat Midview, who is also a Division I team down in state semis this week. They beat Waynedale, who's been down there the last 2 years, West Holmes, Tusky Valley. I mean, they've been getting after it. So good luck to the Hawks. We'll be keeping an eye on them. And we're going to move up to the northwest part of the state and back to Division IV. And, Coach, if I mispronounce your name, forgive me. I'm just going to go with the way it looks. Coach Wensink.
Perfect.
From Christian.
Yep. You got it right. So,
Coach, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I know it's a busy night for you. It looks like, I don't know, it looked like you might be in a Waffle House, but I know that can't be the case.
Lobby in the hotel room. Got little ones in my room, so I figured I would lobby.
Go somewhere quiet.
Yep.
Well, Coach, again, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. We have not spoke before, so I means even more to me that you responded to my message and agreed to come on, because I want people to hear about the Lady Eagles. So I've seen you guys play a couple times. I know you this year. I know you've went through some adversity recently. How did your team respond? Well, I know how they responded, but losing a player, a top-notch player, is never easy. And you guys just went through that recently. What did that do for your team to be without a top player for a couple games and get through that? And how did that help you guys improve?
Obviously, the player, Mackenzie Royal Davis, she's just special. She does a lot inside, outside. Not only that, she is just a great teammate. And I think that, our team just really looked at her, and just felt that, like, we got to do this for her. And, we obviously another superstar, and, Kendall Braden, and 3 seniors that just get after it. We have, battled some adversity. We had a week where we, played Magnificat and Anthony Wayne late, lost both of those games. I don't think we've lost 2 games in a week, in 4 years. But I really was just proud of the girls in the district and responding, and and give credit to the team we played in Lakota. They were a solid team. And they shot over 50% from the 3-point line that game. They did not make it easy on us, but our girls really grinded that out. And not having her, I think they It was like a refuse to lose, just because of the love that they have for Mackenzie, and I think that got us to a better spot. Once we got her back, that regional, you've seen Convoy Crestview. They're no joke. They're a good, solid basketball team.
Yeah.
I was just super proud of the way we, played that game, relentless, and they just, and then they kind of picked up on, Saturday against Columbus Grove, a good, solid team that plays hard all the time. So it's we really learned a lot from that week. We learned that we need everybody, we are a better team now because of that.
How much confidence does that give your squad when you like you said, Royal Davis was out, but you get her back and you beat a really good Crestview team that I picked to come out of the region. I was wrong. Clearly, clearly I picked that one wrong. But I think Callie Gregory is as good as any kid in Northwest Ohio. And you obviously had a great game plan, and the game wasn't even really close, if I remember correctly. So I really picked that one wrong. But
No.
How much confidence does that give your squad?
Ellie, just give her props. She is a fantastic player. I know that, right now her looks are D2, but I've seen her play. She's a 5'11" guard that can shoot, that can play a little inside. She gave us a lot of mismatch problems with that. But what we did is obviously, my daughter guarded her most of the time. And, I was just super impressed with that because, my daughter's, she's a soccer girl. She's a track girl, and she plays basketball. She loves basketball, but she loves her teammates, and she wasn't going to let them down. And it was really good to see. But props to her because, she's a really good player. And I think that any MAC school should be looking at her.
Yeah. Now, I may misspeak here because I don't know the history of Toledo Christian that well. I mean, I know that when you guys got Royal Davis Madison, that's when you guys kind of got on the map, and at least from what I've known. And ever since then, you guys have played tough schedules. You have not been afraid to play anybody, as far as I could see. How important has it been for your squad to get to play top-notch competition? I know for a fact I saw you play Highland at Highland one time.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned you played Olmsted Falls or Magnificat and I forget who else you just said, but two great teams in the same week. Like, you guys never shy away from competition. First of all, how hard has it been, or how easy has it been to kind of keep your kids focused on the bigger picture? Because I know it can be tough losing games, even though you still win plenty. But you play teams that you just really got to play really well even to have a shot to beat. So you rack up some losses and sometimes that weighs on kids. So how was that transition for you to keep your kids focused? And also, how important do you feel that has gotten you to the point where you're at right now?
Yeah, no, our schedule has been tough. We looked back, we played, there were 6 teams that qualified for the regional on our schedule. And there were 2 other teams that were district final. 2 games that early, we played Margaretta. They're in the state, and we played OG, and both of those teams played each other at Elida after we had punched our ticket to the Final Four. So girls, I was like, hey, we've already beat the 2 teams playing that night. Let's win this game, and we own Elida that week. So for us, but like a couple teams that you can't implement that sometimes in practice or in other things. Like over Christmas, we played Dublin Kaufman. They run 5 guards, and the shortest girl is 5'11". So those are things that length and speed and athleticism really. So as we go through the tournament, we compare players, and we look at this, our matchup tomorrow, New Middletown, Springfield. They got a nice player in 21. She does a lot of good things. And I look at her and we just compare like, okay, this girl plays a lot like Elise Bender from Anthony Wayne. And, and now Elise, fantastic player, those are the things that they're like, they just see that, they vision that, and that helps them just prepare for these games. And and that's really hard, really good that we get to, just again, play top level teams. Obviously it's Little Christian. I'm not only the girls basketball coach, but the athletic director. So, I can make that schedule.
Yeah.
But this team is special. They don't like losing. They feel like, we, played a lot of those teams tough, still lost, and they thought it was the end of the world. And, but they also knew that they learned something from it. Girl like Kendall Braden, she's just always, studying the game and doing things like that. So after each loss, we'll sit down and we'll talk. And she's like, okay, well, what can we do here? What can we do there? And, so it's good. It's good that, these teams have prepared us for what we're seeing now. And, and I know that, another team I don't want to forget about, obviously they're down there with us in D4 is Tri-Village. They're a fantastic program. We played them in the Classic. I don't think they've seen our best. Right now, I feel we're playing our best. But they are a fantastic team. And between them and Berlin Highland, that's going to be a great game.
And we don't know each other personally, but you do follow me on Twitter, so you probably understand that I'm a very honest person. And you may disagree with my next statement, but I feel like you guys got the matchup that the weak link of the four. I mean, nobody wants to play Tri-Village right now. And you and Highland are probably pretty similar, and nobody would choose to play you. If there was the team that everybody would rather play, you got the favorable matchup. How do you kind of keep your team focused and not get complacent and overlook the game tomorrow against Springfield, overlooking to, what would be a tougher matchup on Saturday?
Again, we've battled Berlin Highland, we've battled Tri-Village before. We know what they're about. We know the history of those programs, fantastic programs. And when I say that is like, we know to get to that, we have to play this next game. And, New Middletown, they've won 23 games, and, and they might not have the star power of the other teams, but they play hard, and they average, over, 10 rebounds and just offensive rebounds a game. And those are things that, like, a lot of coaches, you don't see those on the stat board, but that's how they win. So you have a team that's just going to try out working you. And, we have a group that, we're here now, and we're not going to overlook anybody because of the fact that, we do have 3 seniors. Last year, we didn't have any seniors. So returning everybody was great, but that inexperience could have really hurt us, to where now, we're not overlooking anybody. And I will say this, I think that we use it in our advantage because I think there are teams that have overlooked us. We're not going to come in with 15 girls on the bench, have this big team. And we've seen teams look at us in the summer and even this year, and then kind of looked and laughed. And then all of a sudden it's tied at halftime, or we're up 2 or down 2, and just lighten them up. So, we know how that feels, people just kind of overlooking us a little bit. So we don't want to do that to them. We want to respect them, and we know that they're going to give us everything they have. They're here, and, playing that game, and there's an urgency. They've got 2 really good seniors, and they're going to give us all they have.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you. I know we had a little trouble getting connected, and
I'm sorry about that.
No, that's nothing to be sorry about. I appreciate that you kept after it, and we figured it out, and we got you on the show because I really wanted you on, and it would have been easy just to say screw it. Thanks for the effort, blah blah blah. So I really do appreciate your time and your effort to get on the show, and it means a lot to me. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. And again, I'm usually IT savvy, and AD world, I'm the one they call. So that's scary, right?
Well, I know the problem. You got a damn Android and not an iPhone.
Yes, and my daughter and wife are telling me that, and obviously I'm using my wife's phone now. So no, we're gonna work on that, get that one fixed.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck this weekend. You guys get started tomorrow, and I'll be down there watching you. So best of luck.
Awesome. Say hi when you see me. So
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do for women's basketball. It's truly an honor to be here with you guys and talking to you, and I just really appreciate that. You step forward and do a fantastic job for women's basketball, and I thank you for it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Coach.
Yep.
Better get to bed, man. It's getting late, and you got a big day tomorrow.
That's right, we do. So, well, thank you. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Yep.
Coach Wensink there from Toledo Christian, making the trip down there from Northwest Ohio in D4. So good luck to them, the Eagles, tomorrow. And again, thanks to all the coaches on. I know it's just a really stressful and busy time for everybody. So I really do appreciate all the coaches that came on. Good luck to everybody, even the coaches that weren't on. Thank you, and good luck tomorrow. So we'll see everybody. If anybody sees me, say hi. I have a goal of watching a game with somebody different every game. So if you want to watch a game with me, let me know. We'll get together. I appreciate everybody listening. Remember, do something good for somebody, treat others well, and please